The Rise of the Fighting Nerds, a Brazilian dynasty redefining UFC supremacy. In the electrifying world of mixed martial arts, a new force is emerging from the sun-soaked streets of Brazil, poised to rewrite the narrative of dominance in the UFC. They call themselves the Fighting Nerds, a collective of cerebral warriors who blend intellect, power, and unorthodox flair to conquer the Octagon. With their signature taped-up glasses and a strategic approach that dismantles opponents before the first bell, this crew is not just a trend. They're the vanguard of a dynasty. Led by tactical masterminds and fueled by a roster of knockout artists, the Fighting Nerds are transforming the UFC into their playground, one devastating finish at a time. Welcome to the era of the smartest, most ferocious fighters the sport has ever seen. The genesis of a movement. The Fighting Nerds story begins over a decade ago in Sao Paulo, where two unlikely allies, Kaio Bahia, a natural athlete with a razor-sharp mind, and Pablo Secupira, a wiry coach who looked more like a scholar than a fighter, laid the foundation for a revolution. In 2014, Kaio stepped into the MMA world, initially skeptical of Secupira's unassuming appearance. But one training session changed everything. Secupira's meticulous approach to fight analysis and his ability to break down techniques with surgical precision won Kaio over. Together, they founded the Sao Paulo Combat Club, a gym that would become the crucible for the Fighting Nerds. The team's ethos was clear from the start: discipline, intelligence, and relentless preparation. Every fighter was required to memorize complex combinations, study opponents with obsessive detail, and execute game plans with flawless precision. Their signature taped glasses, a cheeky nod to the stereotype of nerds with broken frames, became a symbol of their mission to defy expectations. We wanted to embrace the nerd persona and turn it into something powerful, Secupira explained. The tape in the middle? It's a reminder that we're not just fighters, we're thinkers who dominate. What sets the Fighting Nerds apart is their ability to marry brains with brawn. They're not just throwing punches, they're solving puzzles in real time, anticipating opponents' moves, and exploiting weaknesses with calculated aggression. Their rise through the UFC ranks is no accident. It's the result of years of preparation, a shared vision, and an unyielding commitment to excellence. As Kaio Bahia put it, "We didn't just train for victory, we trained for supremacy." John Silva, the flamboyant finisher. At the forefront of the Fighting Nerds is John Silva, a featherweight and lightweight phenom whose infectious energy and devastating knockouts have made him a fan favorite. Silva burst onto the UFC scene in January 2024 via Dana White's Contender Series, and he hasn't looked back. With a professional record boasting 12 knockouts, 2 submissions, and just 1 decision, Silva's 99% finish rate is a testament to his lethality. His fists carry the force of a Brazilian tempest, capable of flattening even the most seasoned opponents. Silva's fighting style is a blend of raw power and calculated chaos. In the Octagon, he moves with the exuberance of a child chasing adventure. Yet every strike is delivered with chilling precision. His debut saw him obliterate his opponent in under a minute, and subsequent performances have only solidified his reputation as a human highlight reel. "I don't just want to win," Silva said. "I want to make people remember my name." His upcoming clash with Bryce Mitchell promises to be a showcase of his showmanship, as he aims to add another knockout to his resume. What makes Silva special is his ability to thrive in discomfort. "I love the chaos of a fight," he admitted. "It's where I find my edge." Whether he's trading blows in a stand-up war or scrambling for a finish on the ground, Silva's relentless aggression and uncanny knack for seizing opportunities make him a nightmare for any opponent. With his star on the rise, Silva is poised to become one of the UFC's biggest draws. Carlos Prates, the smoking sniper. If Silva is the heart of the Fighting Nerds, Carlos Prates is their sharpshooter. Known as the Nightmare, this welterweight sensation has taken the UFC by storm since his debut in November 2023. A former kickboxer and Muay Thai practitioner, Prates possesses striking so precise it borders on supernatural. Of his 21 professional victories, 16 have come by knockout, 3 by submission, and only 2 by decision. Ranked 13th in the welterweight division, Prates is a force to be reckoned with, despite his unconventional lifestyle. Remarkably, Prates is a lifelong smoker, a habit he's maintained since childhood. While the fighting nerds don't endorse it, this quirk has become part of his enigmatic persona. "I know it sounds crazy," Prates said with a grin, "but I've always done things my way." His ability to deliver knockout after knockout while puffing cigarettes outside the gym has only added to his mystique. Since signing with the UFC via a TKO on the Contender Series, Prates has racked up 4 consecutive knockouts, earning performance bonuses and headlining a Fight Night event against Neil Magny. Prates' recent cancellation of a bout against Jeff Neal was a setback, but the UFC is eager to reschedule him. His striking, honed through years of kickboxing, allows him to pick apart opponents with sniper-like accuracy. In the Octagon, he's a predator, patiently stalking his prey before unleashing a fight-ending blow. "I don't rush," Prates said. "I wait for the perfect moment, and then I strike." With his trajectory, Prates is on a collision course with a welterweight elite. Mauricio Rufi, the anime-inspired assassin. Mauricio Rufi, dubbed One Shot, is the fighting nerd's lightweight prodigy, a 28-year-old dynamo whose highlight reel knockouts have set the UFC ablaze. Since joining the promotion on October 3, 2023, through Dana White's Contender Series, Rufi has demolished 3 opponents, each victory more spectacular than the last. His record speaks for itself: 12 wins, 11 by knockout. But it was his performance at UFC 313 on March 8, 2025, that cemented his legacy. Facing veteran Bobby Green, Rufi delivered what many consider one of the greatest knockouts in UFC history, a spinning wheel kick that dropped Green in under 2 minutes. Commentator Ariel Helwani called it a highlight for the ages, comparing it to Edson Barboza's iconic knockout of Terry Etam. Rufi's performance was pure Octagon magic, a blend of technical brilliance and raw power. "I wanted to shock the world," Rufi said. "I trained for that moment, and I seized it." Rufi's love for anime adds a layer of charm to his persona. In a post-fight interview, he quoted a line from One Piece in Japanese, delighting fans despite his limited English. His world-class striking, reminiscent of teammate Prates, makes him a threat in the cutthroat lightweight division. With his show-stopping style and growing fan base, Rufi is on the cusp of breaking into the rankings, and the right matchups could propel him to stardom. Kaio Bahia, the natural leader. At the heart of the fighting nerds is Kaio Bahia, the 32-year-old middleweight who embodies the team's philosophy. Ranked 6th in his division, Bahia is the most successful nerd to date, with 7 UFC wins since his electrifying Contender Series debut in mid-2021. His professional record stands at 17 victories, with a versatility that keeps opponents guessing. One fight, he'll knock you out. The next, he'll submit you or dominate for 3 rounds. "I don't have a single style," Bahia said. "I adapt, I study, I conquer." Bahia's analytical approach sets him apart. He dissects opponents with the precision of a chess grandmaster, memorizing their tendencies and exploiting their weaknesses. His nickname, The Natural, reflects his athletic gifts, but it's his mind that makes him truly dangerous. "Every fight is a puzzle," Bahia said. "I solve it before I step into the cage." With discussions of a potential title shot swirling, Bahia believes 2025 could be his year. "I'm one fight away from the belt," he declared. "I'm ready to make history." The fighting nerds' philosophy. What unites the fighting nerds is their commitment to preparation. They don't just train, they strategize. Every fighter studies hours of footage, memorizes opponents' patterns, and drills scenarios until they're second nature. In the Octagon, there are no surprises, only opportunities. "We don't believe in luck," Secupor said. "We believe in planning." This approach has yielded a string of dominant performances, from Silva's knockouts to Bahia's tactical masterclasses. The team's camaraderie is another key to their success. Unlike other camps where egos can clash, the fighting nerds operate like a family. Silva, Prates, Rufi, and Bahia train together, push each other, and celebrate each other's victories. We're all champions in our own way, Bahia said. Any one of us could be the first to win a belt, but we're all chasing the same goal. A dynasty in the making. The Fighting Nerds are more than a team. They're a movement. Their rise mirrors the Nurmagomedov clan's dominance, but with a distinctly Brazilian flair. They're fierce yet cerebral, powerful yet precise. With Silva tearing through the featherweight and lightweight divisions, Prates climbing the welterweight ranks, Rufi shaking up the lightweight scene, and Bahia eyeing a middleweight title shot, the Nerds are on the verge of a takeover. Their impact extends beyond the cage. The taped glasses have become a cultural phenomenon, embraced by fans who see the Nerds as underdogs defying stereotypes. Their story resonates with anyone who's been underestimated, proving that brains and heart can triumph over brute force. We're not just fighting for ourselves, Sakupra said. We're fighting to show the world what's possible. The future, a nerd-led revolution. As the UFC evolves, the Fighting Nerds are poised to lead the charge. Their blend of intellect, power, and charisma makes them a force that opponents fear and fans adore. Whether it's Silva's next knockout, Prates' sniper-like precision, Rufi's anime-inspired flair, or Bahia's title run, the Nerds are rewriting the rules of MMA supremacy. For fans, the question is simple. Are you ready for an era defined by the smartest combatants the UFC has ever known? The Fighting Nerds aren't just here to compete, they're here to dominate. Share your thoughts, subscribe for updates, and brace yourself for a revolution. The age of the Fighting Nerds has begun, and it's going to be a wild ride.